The atmosphere was electric as the royal banquet unfolded, but no one could have anticipated the spectacle that was about to take place. The night was supposed to be a picture of traditional elegance, with Donald and Melania Trump as the honored guests. However, the event quickly spiraled into something far more entertaining. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, made her grand entrance, leaving a lasting impression. She wasn't just wearing a gown. She was wearing an experience. Draped in a full-length golden silk gown by Philippa Lepley, paired with an intricately embroidered chantilly lace coat, she looked nothing short of regal. Every detail of her appearance screamed perfection, from the Queen's earrings to the royal family order and her iconic blue sash. It was as if Catherine had redefined what it meant to glow up. In comparison, Meghan's laid-back boho aesthetic seemed, well, a bit underwhelming. Catherine had managed to turn heads without even trying, and she quickly became the centerpiece of the evening. But the real drama? It wasn't just Catherine's stunning appearance. It was the way everyone in the room seemed to be captivated by her presence. Even Donald Trump, usually the one at the center of attention, couldn't resist showering her with compliments. He repeatedly praised her beauty and health, practically turning into her personal hype man. Meanwhile, King Charles took the stage for his speech about the UK's relationship with the US. But, in a surprising twist, he completely ignored his second son, Harry, who was living in America with his wife. It was a glaring oversight, as if Harry and Meghan had become invisible in the royal world. The evening started like any other royal affair, with expectations set high for a grand banquet. It was supposed to be an elegant event, filled with delicious food, diplomatic speeches, and a touch of royal charm. Guests arrived in their finest attire, the atmosphere sparkling with anticipation. But little did anyone know that this night would take an unexpected turn. The usual dignitaries were present, but as the evening unfolded, the presence of Donald Trump and King Charles quickly overshadowed everything else. What should have been a night of regal refinement morphed into something more akin to a spectacle, one where decorum seemed secondary to the drama unfolding in the spotlight. The usual polished elegance of such events was replaced with moments that could only be described as pure spectacle. With Trump's unmistakable presence and King Charles' peculiar choices, it became clear. This was no ordinary banquet. It was a show, a royal circus of sorts, and it was only just getting started. Catherine entered the room, and it was as though time itself had paused for a moment. She wasn't just another guest. She was the guest. Her golden silk gown by Philippa Lepley shimmered under the chandeliers, the intricate lace details on her coat catching every eye in the room. This wasn't just an outfit. It was a statement, a crown of fabric that only someone with true royal grace could wear. The tiara on her head, so iconic it could have been a symbol of monarchy itself, added the perfect finishing touch. And those earrings? Well, those belonged to none other than Queen Elizabeth herself. It wasn't just a look. It was an experience, a visual feast. As Catherine stood there, regal and poised, it felt as though she had stepped straight out of a dream, or perhaps a royal magazine cover. Meanwhile, Donald Trump couldn't help but shower her with praise, leaning in as if she were his personal muse. "You look so radiant, so healthy, so beautiful," he repeated, unable to stop. It was as though he had been trained to turn every interaction into a compliment marathon. Catherine wasn't just in the spotlight. She owned it. And Trump, well, he knew it. Meanwhile, in a far-off corner of California, Meghan was living her own version of royalty. There she was, posting yet another photo that screamed, "I'm so in touch with nature." Barefoot, in a floppy hat, and probably wearing shoes from a local farmer's market. It was as though her entire existence revolved around showing the world just how connected she was to the earth, posting inspirational quotes about the beauty of grounding oneself. "Feel the earth beneath your feet." Ah, yes, Meghan, we get it. You're deep, very deep. In fact, you're practically an ocean of wisdom. Or maybe not an ocean, perhaps more like a small, shallow bathtub. Meanwhile, back in the royal spotlight, Catherine was effortlessly exuding royalty, outshining the room even without a crown. The contrast between the two was impossible to ignore. While Catherine basked in her coronation-worthy splendor, Meghan was miles away, typing yet another poetic caption about embracing nature. It was clear. One was living the royal dream, and the other was still trying to figure out what that dream looked like from a garden in California. As the evening unfolded, the spotlight was once again on Catherine, but this time it was Donald Trump who couldn't get enough of her. Seated beside her, he practically turned into her personal cheerleader, praising her appearance with an enthusiasm that could rival any royal spokesperson. "She's incredible, so radiant, so healthy, so beautiful," he repeated, unable to stop himself. It was as if he had become her personal public relations agent, amplifying her beauty with each word. Meanwhile, across the room, King Charles, with a smile that barely concealed his discomfort, delivered a speech about the deep relationship between the UK and the US. Yet, in a curious move, he failed to mention his second son, Harry, who was not only in the country but sitting just a few feet away with his wife and children. It was as if they had ceased to exist in the royal family's narrative. Charles, ever the diplomat, seemed to dance around any mention of the Sussexes, a subtle but deliberate omission that left the air thick with unspoken tension. While Trump gushed over Catherine, King Charles's speech felt more like an exercise in selective memory. It was clear that for some, the royal family had made up its mind about who belonged and who didn't. And then, of course, there was William, the epitome of a future king. Standing tall in his perfectly tailored suit, he didn't just look like a prince. He looked like someone who had already gone through the royal throne rehearsal. His presence was magnetic, effortlessly commanding attention. Every detail of his appearance, from the subtle red accents to the immaculate fit of his suit, spoke to his destined role. Beside Catherine, he was the picture of regality, the perfect partner to her shining crown. The contrast with Harry could not have been more glaring. The last time Harry made a public appearance, he looked like the guy who somehow got stuck at the kids' table at a family dinner, awkwardly trying to figure out why he wasn't sitting at the grown-ups' table. William's poised and polished demeanor only made Harry's appearance look more out of place. But at least Harry could console himself with the fact that, unlike his brother, his dinner wasn't quite as crucial. After all, no one was waiting for him to be the next king. And so, the grand spectacle came to an end. Catherine and William once again found themselves elevated to the highest pedestal, their royal stature reaffirmed for all to see. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan? They were still somewhere in California, living their own life of avocado toast and endless, vaguely profound Instagram posts. Their attempts to remain relevant through social media and thinly veiled complaints about royal life seemed to fall on deaf ears. Let's face it, no one was really paying attention. The reality was stark. Catherine and William were the royal couple we had all imagined, embodying the grace and power that comes with their birthright. As for Harry and Meghan, they were nothing more than background characters now, desperately trying to frame their private lives as meaningful reflections, all while the rest of the royal family continued their performance in the Grand Royal Theatre.